Hey everyone, welcome back. Hopefully everyone's having a great start to March. Listening to the news, it looks like Toronto may move into the gray zone next week, so things are slowly again picking up. And with that, what I wanted to come on today and talk about is kind of the importance of sales as we move forward. And again, these thoughts are my own thoughts. I don't speak for anyone else. I speak for me based on my experience and my background. And oftentimes when I say sales, people say, "Well, what are you talking about sales for? You're an F&B guy." And I always argue with, no, I'm an industry person. And having spent a number of years, as a general manager of small restaurants, successful restaurants, and as a managing partner of a restaurant, um, a large part of that job was being a salesperson, was being a marketing person. You don't have the luxury of having a department behind you to be selling your space. You have to do it. You have to be the face. You have to knock on doors. You have to create relationships. And so that's why I speak to this based on some of that experience. And, I look back years ago, when sales was more or less a guerrilla tactic where you were fighting with people to get in front of other people. And my thought is it's going to be like that for a little while as we all come out of this, because everyone, hotels, restaurants, they're all going to come out of the gates at the same time. And it's going to be those who are go-getters, who want to be in front of people, that are going to get the business. If you're a restaurant, you have an event planner, or you have a private dining manager, if you're lucky enough to be able to keep that salary on, there are going to have to be people that are very comfortable creating new contacts, because the contacts they may have had before where the phone just rang and it's like, all right, I'm talking to person B because I know them and they're going to book my luncheon because that's what they always do. The person on the other end of the phone, they might not be there anymore, and the person writing the check may want more control over where they're going. They might have to make those new relationships. And that doesn't come by just being on the phone. That comes from being out in public. And I think more than ever, knowing your immediate circumference of local business becomes more important. And I look at our time at Crush Wine Bar years ago when we took it over. One of the first things we did is we mapped out a 2-block radius around Crush that included the Globe and Mail, B&B Architectures, Kandari Advertising, Indigo, Scholastic. Like, I can still remember where they all are now. Some of the places have changed, and we made a list of, okay, who do we think of these businesses will be like a 5-day lunch, 2-night dinner, vice versa, all the way down every day of the week. And then as a management team, we went and knocked on every single door. We introduced ourselves to every single person, and we made those connections. And those connections from there grew into connections into the Shangri-La, and other people on my management team that went on to do their own thing. Some of those people also followed them because it was relationship building, and we had to do it by pressing flesh. And I think that's going to become even more valuable. I think, we're going to see maybe the resurgence of the liquid lunches, taking people out for lunches to form new bonds, getting out from behind the desk and actually out there hustling. Because I can tell you, those general managers and those event planners in restaurants, they will be hustling to fill those seats. And those guys and women are hungry. So everyone that has a sales team has to be equally hungry. I challenge everyone to, get yourself a membership to the Spoke Club, Soho House, get yourself on the list of invites to the TIFF parties, to any of the galas at Roy Thompson Hall. Even if you think it's not your business today, it could be your business tomorrow, and just putting a face to a name is going to be so important. And I think everyone is going to be doing that. So it's looking at yourself in the mirror and going, okay, am I the person to be out there doing that? And if it's not me, who is it? Who can I get to go and do that? Because I think a lot of these sales calls, like your business sales calls, will happen during the day, but some of the social ones, they happen 7 o'clock onwards at night. So there's going to need to be people that are like, I'm going to own that. And I often think of someone who I worked with who I think would excel in this post-COVID, and that's Alex Filiatro. He was my director of sales on our opening team at the Shangri-La Toronto. He's also the director of sales for the Four Seasons for years, sales and marketing. Sorry, I would never want to offend Alex. And Alex was fantastic at pressing flesh with people. We had massive disagreements sometimes because he would as always the case, he was out there selling the dream, and then he'd plop it on my desk and like, we're just gonna make it happen. And we all know that you get some strife in there, but there was no one better at it. And it's gonna be people like that who aren't afraid to be out there, just talking the talk, walking the walk, pressing the flesh, selling the dream, and creating those contacts and creating those lifelong contacts that become integral in the success of your future business. Because whatever the business of your restaurant or hotel was prior, it's going to change a little bit, and some of your demographic is going to change in the short term. So having a team that's out there, not afraid to make those new connections, is going to be vital. Trying different things and thinking outside of the box. If we already know that a bunch of places have gone under, but at some point someone's going to come into the neighborhood and take over one of those leases. So even little things, and I remember working with a gentleman, Christian Scovena, years ago. We had a company, Kandari Advertising, moved in on Duncan Street, and we just said to ourselves, you know what, they're moving into the neighborhood. We found out how many people worked in the office as it was opening, and the day one of their move-in date, we showed up at their front door with boxed lunches and beverages for the entire team as a welcome to the neighborhood. They became 5-day-a-week regulars for lunch at our restaurant, just by little things like that. And it may be those kind of things that restaurants and even some hotels have to do to create loyalty and to create awareness of what's going on and what you have available. So I can't stress it enough. What we thought of in the past as sales, well, obviously very important. I think there's going to be a need to be a little bit more militant and a little bit more in your face and more risk taking, I guess is what it is. Getting outside of that comfort zone and trying to be the face of your establishment and the face of your business, because the competition is going to be tough, and the ones that can make those connections and can sell the dream and have the team that can then execute the dream are going to be the ones that succeed in the short term. And there are, like I say, there are some fantastic operators out there who I know are already working on plans, and I welcome it. I think the time for innovation that's going to come out of this from those GMs and those event planners and those salespeople is going to be off the charts. But I just hope that everyone is thinking into the future and thinking that things aren't going to be the same, and we have to look at things a bit differently, and look at who we're going to put out there to be doing these things, because it's not for everyone. It's if you're an introverted person, you're not the person you're going to send out to be making these connections at a TIFF gala. Not to say they're not valuable, because they are valuable, and maybe they look after another market segment for you or another part of your restaurant operations. But finding that person that is comfortable and can get out there and can drive the sale, drive the business, make the connections, create the friendships. Because I'll tell you, like when I first met Alex, all I heard about was this massive Rolodex that he had, and I thought, oh, here we go, another salesperson, blah, blah, blah. Alex not only had a deep Rolodex, as I came to know, these people were like great friends of his that would bend over backwards. If Alex said, I need something at the hotel, these people would flock to the hotel to make it happen for him. And that happens by being personable, by being honest, by being trustworthy, by being caring, and by executing. And it's going to be, like I say, those individuals, they're going to really help restaurants and hotels thrive coming out of this. So just my 2 cents. That's how I'm going to be approaching things. Like, I'm going to be probably more visible than I've ever been, regardless of what I do, because I want to make sure that I'm set up and my people are set up for the best possible success wherever that may be. And I know that Yannick with Carbon Bar is going to be doing the same thing, and people of that ilk. I know Patrick and probably Chris Seeley, they're going to be out there. Again, not that they need to be; they've got great product, but it's reestablishing and making new connections and making new customers and new guests, and they're very good at that. And so I'm just really excited to see all of the innovation that comes out of this, and I'm really excited to get into some of those galas again and just be pressing the flesh, because that's where the difference is going to be made. So put on your salesman's hat. We're all going to be selling. We're all going to be selling the dream, and then we all have to execute it. So Gray Zone coming up, it looks like. Let's get to orange. Let's get to green. Let's get the ball rolling. And I hope that every single business, every single restaurant, every single hotel has a fantastic relaunch, because we've all waited a long time and we've all worked really hard to make it happen. So good luck, guys. Stay tuned for some new wine posts coming up, and have a great day. Cheers.